Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the Mighty Jingles. And yes, that's right, I've tricked you into watching an artillery replay. Well, no, don't go, stop, come back. Trust me, it's going to be worth it. I know, artillery replays are usually as interesting as watching paint dry, but, well, this one is kind of different. Otherwise, why would I be making a video? Might as well introduce the star of today's show in the This is FBI 869. Now you might not have seen him before, but I have. 5 years ago at Tankfest 2015 when he was the tender age of 12 years old. And this is him. And the one on the left, that is. The one with the beard is me when I was only 45. He's a bit older now, of course. And he's still playing World of Tanks. Now, it's been so long since I did an artillery replay, and it's probably been quite some time since a great number of you guys watching this have actually played World of Tanks, that this particular view is probably very, very strange. This is what they call trajectory view. You can enter this artillery-only view mode by tapping the G key. And it gives you a much, much better idea of how your shells are going to do when it comes to clearing obstacles. Now, pay attention to the AT-8 tank destroyer. There he is, just tucked in behind that rock. As FBI launches a shot at him, he goes undetected, and that was a direct hit. And you can tell it was a direct hit, despite the fact that when he becomes visible again, he suffered 0 damage from it. And the next shot, which we see, did actually do some damage. But if you're shooting at a target that has suddenly gone undetected, and you don't see the shell impact, that means you hit the target. If you do see the shell impact, you missed. We'll have some more examples of that later. He's going for the Type T-34 now, who's, well, I don't know if he's been immobilised, but he's probably not going to survive too long if he's just sitting in the open like that. Side on to a whole bunch of friendlies, who are all shooting at him because, hey, why not? It looks like nobody wants to think. Oh wait, no, there it is. A couple of things that you might wish to note about the because it's a premium artillery, it didn't lose its high explosive anti-tank and armour-piercing ammunition in the artillery rebalance. Now, even for the artillery rebalance, thanks to its accuracy, rate of fire, an absurdly good 390 metre view range. Yes, a tier 5 artillery, with a view range that would put many tier 10 medium tanks to shame. This thing was considered more than a little OP. Ah, that was a direct hit. I said we'd come back to this. The 88 is still there. Second shot. Also a direct hit. No explosion. Means you hit something. Even if you can't see it. See what happens with the third shot. That was a miss, because we saw the shell impact. But yes, because it's a premium vehicle, it not only retains its absurdly good accuracy and rate of fire and stupidly good 390 meter view range, but it also retains its armor piercing and high explosive anti-tank ammunition. To put this into perspective for you, what that means is that this Tier 5 premium French artillery, with its high explosive anti-tank ammunition, has more than double the penetration of any Tier 10 artillery. 104mm of penetration with its gold high explosive anti-tank ammo. With its armor piercing ammunition, which is not gold ammo, it still has better penetration than any Tier 10 artillery. The trade-off is that with these two types of ammunition you must score direct hits because there's no splash damage. With other artillery, the gold ammo simply increases the splash damage radius. We'll come back to the different ammunition choices in just a moment. Right now, things are getting rather serious for FBI. This T-bar ahead on kills, not by much, and there are enemy heavies rolling right into the base, although they haven't spotted it yet. Now there's an SU-100 taking them on from the front, and Fed here is proving to be extremely annoying to the T-150 as he continues to pump high explosive shells into his flank. It looks like the KV-2 at least has realised that there's some artillery hidden over here, and you definitely don't want to get hit by a KV-2. Now the SU-100 has been taken out by the T-150, but the KV-2 turning to the side like that exposed his broadside to the broadside. I've been playing too much World of Warships. To the Hellcat, who turned up at the last second. Who's now threatening the T-150, who still cannot see FBI. Although he's shooting this way. Come on, one more hit. No, it's going to take two. Or somebody else kill him. Anybody? No? Okay, we'll do it ourselves. Right, base defended. He's gone through an awful lot of high explosive ammunition though, hasn't he? Only has 5 shots left, but that's okay. He still has 2 armor piercing and 9 gold high explosive anti-tank with 104mm of penetration. The team are 2 kills up. It's difficult to see how the team could lose at this point, really, isn't it? Unless, of course, you've actually played World of Tanks. Yeah. That 88, somebody remind me, how much armour does an 88 have? Nah, I'll save you the trouble. 200 at the front, 101 at the sides and rear. It is a very tough customer in a Tier 6 battle like this. Although the armour on top, obviously, is nowhere near as good as that. So it's not immune to artillery high explosive damage, and of course the weak spots, the hatches on top, which are on top, and therefore completely impossible to cover up. Which means that at close ranges, most of the tanks that an 88 is going to fight, not all, but most of the tanks that an 88 is going to fight at close range shouldn't have any problems damaging it by hitting those weak spots. And of course the other obvious tactic when dealing with non-turreted tank destroyers like the 88 is just blow their tracks off, keep them immobilised, get yourself around the sides and rear, and even then if you don't have a gun capable of penetrating the side and rear armour, just keeping them tracked will render them a sitting duck for artillery. Now if you're thinking to yourself, hang on a minute, the Jackson, it's taking shots from the rear. Yes, it was taking shots from the rear. If you have a look at the minimap, you'll see that the 88 is quite visible and in more or less exactly the same spot he's always been, shooting up not just the Jackson, and he's killed the Jackson, but he's also taking pot shots at the Hellcat, as everybody tunnel visions on taking down the enemy artillery, and he's just killed the Hellcat as well. But that's okay, there's still 2 kills up. And if the Covenanter finishes off the Griller, they're now 3 kills up. And they're shortly going to be 4 kills up as the Covenanter tracks down and kills the M41 as well. But observe the T150. He's taking hits there, and that's the 88. Still, the 88 is now alone against 5 enemies. He's outnumbered 5 to 1. The Covenanter did track down and kill the M41 as well. And we know exactly where the 88 is. And we outnumber him 5 to 1. There's nowhere he can run to. He's got enemies closing in from all directions. And the T150 definitely has a gun that can handle the 88's armour. Although, not from the front. The T150's 107mm gun will not beat the 88's 200mm of frontal armour. But it will absolutely punch through the side and rear armour. Of course, the trade-off to that is that the 88's 17-pounder gun can absolutely beat the T150's frontal armour. So, the trick here, of course, because the T150 is on very, very low health and can be one-shotted by the 88, the trick is to keep this guy immobilised. That would allow the T150 to get around him where the 107mm gun can punch through the side armour. Or, if you're in an artillery that fires as quickly as this, you can do what most medium tanks would do and just keep him immobilised and then pepper him to death with your high explosive shells. M41's going to take the shot, completely misses and then dies. But that's okay, FBI's behind him. He can just keep pumping high explosive into his rear, which will keep blowing his tracks off and do enough damage to kill him eventually. Except, well, there's a slight problem with this plan because FBI does not have any high explosive ammunition left. And while you might consider the high explosive anti-tank gold ammo to be somewhat overpowered, as the 88 finishes off the Covenanter as well, it doesn't have the penetration to beat the 88's armour. So all he can really do is keep this guy's tracks blown off. He's got enough ammunition to do that. It just requires the T150 to move. Because immobilised in that position, the T150 is shooting at a perfectly angled 88 where he can't even penetrate the side and rear armour. So the T150 really has two options at this point. Start firing high explosive or move. So you're not firing into angled armour. Because there's a limit to how long FBI can keep this guy immobilised. He's down to his last round of... That's it, it's gone. He no longer has any ammunition. And the 88 has managed to turn himself around on 41 health, and has been on 41 health for most of the last minute or two, and now he's killed the T150. So, what's he going to do now? Because he's got no ammo. He could always try to spot him for the gorilla, I suppose. But then again, hasn't he been doing that for the best part of the last 2 minutes? And keeping him pinned in place so the gorilla can drop a single high explosive shell from above and do 41 damage. Well, he's going to try to ram him, but the 88 has seen that coming, and would probably have survived the ram anyway, but wasn't taking any chances, reversed away to reduce the relative impact speed, and now FBI is dead. And that just leaves the gorilla, another tier 5 artillery. But the gorilla had plenty of opportunities to shoot the 88 for its last 41 health, while FBI was keeping him pinned in place with his armor-piercing and heat ammunition for the T150. The T150 at least has the excuse of being new to the game. And he's saying so in chat. FBI's questioning him in chat now that they've got nothing better to do, they're both dead. Why didn't he take advantage of FBI's pinning the 88 in place? And the T150's explaining he thought he would die. He's very inexperienced at World of Tanks. He doesn't understand armour angling. And that's fair enough. It's unfortunate, but it's fair enough. With less than 300 battles played, you wouldn't expect him to understand weak points, armour angling, anything like that. The Gorilla 15, however, while still a relatively new player, has 5 times as many games played as the T150. But despite this, if you judge by win rate alone, the T150 is already a substantially better player than the Gorilla. And I suspect that part of the reason for this, and this is just speculation on my behalf, is that unless you are a catastrophically bad player, whose mere presence is actually detrimental to the chances of your team winning, you do tend to win more battles that you actually take part in. Because yes, as I'm sure you've all guessed by now, the gorilla is AFK. Hasn't been AFK the whole game, he has fired 8 shots and done a couple of hundred damage, but he's AFK now, when his team needed him the most. So that's a free Kolobanov's medal for the 88. Well, it's not a free Kolobanov's medal, He did have to work pretty hard for it, but he didn't have to work as hard as he would have had to if he'd been fighting an enemy team that included 3 rather than just 2 active artillery. Congratulations to the 88 anyway. I mean, 3,400 damage done in a tier 6 battle is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. 7 kills, although, well, at least one of them was a bit of a gimme. But a Kolobanov's medal is a Kolobanov's medal. Doesn't really matter how you get it. They're still pretty special. Commiserations, of course, to FBI. Maybe next time take more high explosive and less gold ammo. We're just saying. And, wow, the Gorilla. Holy shit. AFK cost them the match. Still did better than a third of his team. Well, you know what they say. If you can't take a joke, you shouldn't be playing World of Tanks. Nevertheless, I hope you've at least been amused by today's video, because that's it. And as always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.